Brian, people hear that the market is up, the market is down, the market has lost 10%. Can you define what the market really is?
Well, yeah, I can, but I think the people that I'm talking to often cannot. They're talking about the market. Okay, well, the market. So you heard that the market was up. What are you referring to? And they kind of look at me inquisitively, and I say, well, is it the Dow? Yeah, the Dow. Okay, that's 30 U.S. stocks. Are you in the Dow? I don't know. Yeah, okay, well, that's a market, not the market. Is it the S&P 500? Is it the bond market? I mean, there's all kinds of markets we can invest in. Just in stocks alone, again, we have the Dow, that's 30 stocks. The S&P 500 is 500 big companies. The Russell 2000 is small and mid-size. You might have value stocks, growth stocks. And that's just the U.S. Now we got international developed, international emerging markets. And then you've got the bond category. The bond category, there's actually more money invested globally in bonds than there are all stocks combined. There's all kinds of different bond categories. Amongst stocks, there's sectors. There's energy stocks and real estate stocks and technology stocks, et cetera, et cetera. So when somebody says the market, I always kind of have to sit back and go, which part of the market are you talking about? Most people have a diversified portfolio of different market investments. So it's important to understand what we're talking about when we're talking about the market, and does the market reflect what you are actually invested in?
Does your understanding of the market and the various sectors of the market help you in terms of being able to properly diversify a portfolio?
Yeah, absolutely, because now we're going to start concentrating on the market. It could be money markets. I mean, it could be cash equivalents too. So that's where we start breaking down, where do we want to be in relation to this? How much do we want in other non-market things like annuities or fixed index universal life or Delaware statutory trusts or private non-traded REITs? But then around that, once we start talking about the market, do we want an overweight in bonds? Well, probably, maybe not. Do we want an overweight in U.S. stocks? Probably. Do we want, different sectors overweighted and certain ones underweighted? Yeah, from time to time we do. And so getting to this kind of more granular analysis of the market makes such a difference for people's returns, because if you look at returns over history, they're remarkably dissimilar depending on which parts of the market you're in.
Because of your understanding of the market, you can put people into all these different sectors and you can monitor risk, that sort of thing. But many financial advisors don't have your expertise as far as the various aspects of the market. Because they don't have that expertise, do you feel that they sort of underuse the market?
Well, actually, that's a great question, because I've also said when people say, how do you invest? Is it better than everybody else? Well, the stock market that I invest in is the same stock market that other advisors invest in. I think that the real key is other things outside of the market, the stock market, if you're talking about a diversified portfolio. It is those things I just mentioned. Do you have the right annuities and universal life? Do you have the right REITs and DSTs? And then once you get to the market, a lot of times if we're diversified, one S&P 500 investment is going to act much like another one. So those aren't necessarily all that dissimilar. But the difference can be the tax planning around it, the knowing when to retire planning, the estate tax, the trust, and all the other areas around investing. So there is something you can do with markets, sector rotation strategies, being heavy in technology shares as opposed to maybe energy shares, something like that. But overall, I think there's a lot of things that are going into this. I just kind of wanted to bring some attention to when somebody says the market, you really have to define, is it the market that you're invested in, or is it some other market you're talking about?
Because the market can be somewhat volatile, I mean, it fluctuates. Do you find that it's a moving target in terms of your investment strategy? What I mean by that, it's not necessarily a set it and forget it. Do you make adjustments in someone's portfolio?
Yes,
right?
We make adjustments along the way. We will tweak things here and there. I made many adjustments during COVID. We had the first cases locally here, and so could kind of see that one coming. But absolutely, definitely have preferences as to what to overweight. And whenever you have to choose something to overweight, you have to choose something to underweight at the same time.
Brian, can you give me an example of someone whose portfolio that you've designed or done a better job as a result of your understanding of the market?
Yeah, I can. I've had a number of situations where had they watched this video, they probably would have a lot more money in their accounts. And the reason I say that, not because I had the super special sector, knowledge that they didn't have, but they didn't understand what they were invested in. So he came to me, I remember this fella came to me, he says, I've got $1 million in my 401k plan, but for the last 10 years, I heard the market's way up, and I'm in the market, but my accounts aren't up at all. And I thought they should be 2 million, not 1 million by now. And so I said, well, what are you in? He said, I'm in Vanguard. I said, well, Vanguard's not the market. They're just a custodian. You could be in a Vanguard money market, a Vanguard technology shares. Well, what are you in? He said, well, let me think. Oh yeah, I'm in the global high yield fund. So I'm in all the stocks in the world. I said, no, the term for a high yield means you're in junk bonds. So you're in global junk bonds and have been for 10 years, and you have not been participating in the stock market returns because you haven't been in the stock market. And he was just looked at me, you've got to be kidding me. I thought I was in the market for 10 years. Everybody else is up, I'm not, because I didn't understand the terminology of what I was in. I said, yeah, unfortunately that's true. So we were able to allocate from there and get him in the areas, but honestly, a lot of people don't know what they're even in.
Good information, Brian. Thanks for that explanation of the market.